Welcome to some more Disposable Minutes. Kinda. I'm gonna be reviewing a few party type games for the next couple of episodes, so let's just get to it. I'm the Disposable Reviewer, let's waste some minutes. You guys ever hear of You Don't Know Jack? It's a trivia game originally released in 1995. Well, the group behind that series has made the Jackbox Party Pack. They've made 3 so far, released in 2014, 15, and 16 respectively. This video is going to focus on the first pack and its 5 games. This pack was released for, a lot of things. The key ones are Xbox 360 and 1, PlayStation 3 and 4, and Steam. You can go to the Jackbox website to find out all the systems their games are on, plus they even tell you which ones are on sale. What's cool about this game, as well as the other Jackbox Party Packs, is that you actually need a smartphone or device to play it. Each player will need their own device, which works out because the majority of you can't put down the damn things. Dude, put the damn phone down and pay attention! When you start up a game, you'll be given a code that you enter into your device. Once you enter in that code and a username, you'll be connected to the game. That means your system and devices need to be connected to the internet. I hope you have good Wi-Fi and a semi-charged battery. We'll start with the first game that I knew about from before this pack was released. As I mentioned earlier, it's called You Don't Know Jack. That's both the title of the game and a statement about your general knowledge. If you've played You Don't Know Jack, you know what to expect. This game is pretty much a trivia quiz. You're given a question, 4 answer options, and 20 seconds to answer. The faster you answer, the more points you'll get, and that's the basics of it. You are given the option to screw over an opponent if you think they don't know the answer. Simply press the screw icon and pick another player. This forces them to answer, and if they're wrong, you get the money, though you lose money if they're right. The questions are presented nicely. They don't just ask the question as they typically do on game shows. The game will ask questions in a way where you need to think about it a little bit. They basically try to make it a bit more entertaining, but that can, at times, be pretty annoying. The host will try to add a bit of wit, but sometimes he just isn't funny, and sometimes he talks so much just to set up a joke that you just wish the game didn't have a host at all.
That's fine, don't ask me how I'm feeling. I asked you how you feel, but whatever. Sure, it's also with my thalamus, but it's just common decency to reciprocate.
This isn't to say they aren't funny, it just seems like they try too hard. They do try to mix it up with different segments, though these tend to just be different ways to present the trivia questions. This isn't a bad thing, but each segment is given its own title sequence, making the game longer, which doesn't help it in my opinion. I'm pretty sure it won't bother most people though. 2 segments that actually do mix it up, the This or That and the Jack Attack, are actually fun. The game takes time to explain each segment before it begins, and you can skip the instructions if you've played before. Overall, this game is okay. I think I just may be tired of You Don't Know Jack in general. I would say give it a shot at least once and see if it's for you. Next up, we have Drawful. If you couldn't figure it out from the name, you'll be drawing in this one. Once you enter in the room code and name, you'll be instructed to draw a picture that represents yourself. You can draw whatever you want, even just scribble everywhere. My favorite question that typically arises from new players is, how do you erase? My favorite answer is, you don't. Once everybody's in, the game will give you a prompt on what to draw, and you draw it. Once everyone submits their drawings, one will be presented to everyone. Everyone, except for the person who originally drew the picture, then tries to guess what the picture is. Once those have been submitted, their guesses, along with the original title, will be presented, and those players must try to guess the original title. This process continues until all of the pictures that have been drawn earlier appear. You can also give likes to your favorite guesses during the game. You don't win anything from this, but the game does acknowledge who had the most likes in the end. But other than that, that's pretty much the whole game. Points are awarded based on how many people you fool by your guesses and how many people were able to get the original title based on the drawing the artist drew. The number of players affects the number of rounds you play. A full 8-player game lets you draw only once, while the minimum 3 has you drawing 3 times. I would say 5 people is a real sweet spot for this game. I highly recommend you play this one. On the first Jackbox Party Pack, Drawful is probably my favorite one. Who you play with really makes the game. If you play it with a bunch of funny people who put good answers, it makes the game hilarious. This game is called Word Spud. This one's kinda weird and empty. Kinda like myself. And also kinda like myself, I don't like it too much. There isn't too much going on in this one. Once all the players have entered the room code, one player will be chosen at random and will be given a word. From there, the player must add to that word to typically make a phrase. Once that player sends in their answer, all the other players then vote on if they liked what the player sent. If this sends in a negative amount, the player will lose points and a new word will be randomly selected. If it ends in a positive amount, the player gains points and the very last word they used in the phrase will be given to the next player. A tie-in vote earns no points to the player, but their last word is used. The game continues like this until time runs out. This game isn't bad, but I think it really caters to specific groups of people. The game doesn't give you too much to work with, and it can end up being pretty boring. It can be fun with the right group, but it isn't really a game that has much replay value to me. Of the 5 games on the pack, this is my second least favorite. My least favorite is definitely Lice Water. It's basically You Don't Know Jack, but super watered down and much less fun. If you see some of the Jackbox Party Pack selling points, you might notice that it says 1 to 100 players. Well, this is the one game that fulfills that point. This game pretty much gives you a statement and you need to say if it's true or false. That's it. This goes on for 3 rounds. The quickest to answer right gets bonus points. This game feels the least personal to me. I think it probably has to do with the fact that the player names are rarely ever shown in this one. The other games have them show up pretty often, and this one only shows them between rounds to show who's winning. The device you use will display your score, your rank based on other players, and your current correct answer streak. Besides for the purposes of capturing footage, I've only played this once, and even then I don't think I played it all the way through. It's a basic true or false quiz with nothing really spectacular to it. You Don't Know Jack shows questions and answers in a more creative way and tries to make it entertaining. This one isn't worth it. If you got the pack, play everything else. If you're not sure which game to play, then play Fibbage. This one's actually good. Once you have everyone in the game, you'll notice that the host of this game is the same as the host from You Don't Know Jack.
Hi, I'm your host, Cookie, and please know I would fall on my sword for you guys. Just not on the sharp side.
Now, I have no problems with him in this game. My guess is that it's because he doesn't go off on tangents to make jokes very often in this one. In this game, you are given a sentence that has a missing word or phrase in it. What you need to do is fill in the blank with something that is believable and could possibly fool the other players. Your answer, along with everyone else's, and the right answer will be displayed on screen. You then try to guess which one is the right answer. It's kind of like Drawful in the answer guessing part at least. You can always dish out likes for answers you like. Again, this doesn't mean much, just acknowledgement at the end of the game. That's pretty much the whole game though. There are 3 rounds, each round awarding more points than the previous. I will say that this game suffers from what most trivia games suffer from, and that's repeated questions. Once you've seen a phrase that the game has used, the game is a lot easier if you remember what the blank was. It hasn't happened too much since I started playing, but I have seen some repeated phrases. The game does make it easier to avoid repeated phrases by letting a random player choose a topic before each phrase, but if you're not playing with the same group of people each time, there's a chance that a previous topic will be picked. Overall, Fibbage is pretty good. The first couple of times you play it, it's a blast, though I feel like it kind of starts lacking once you play it enough. This one, along with Drawful, are really worth your time. The first Jackbox Party Pack isn't that bad, though I'd recommend waiting till it's on sale. It's usually $25, so you're paying $5 per game, which is pretty fair, though if in the end you only play 1 or 2 games, it's a little pricey in my opinion. For me, I'm only really concerned with Fibbage and Drawful. You Don't Know Jack could potentially have some value to you personally, but for me, I'm just kind of done with You Don't Know Jack in general. Nothing against it, it's not a bad game or series, it's just I've played my share of it already. If Fibbage and Drawful were the only games that appealed to you in this video, the company does sell those individually. Though for Drawful, it's Drawful 2, but it's essentially the same game. Just check out their website, it'll tell you what systems they're for and you can buy it on there. My final verdict for the first Jackbox Party Pack is a low cell phone battery. Figure that out.